Alright, so this is my silhouette. This is going to be an electric conversion. These are kind of unusual. There's very few home-built electric aircraft right now. Things I'm going to do to this are, number one, I'm going to take the motor off of here. There's a Rotax 447 44 horsepower motor in the nose. I'm going to take that out. It's going to get replaced with an electric motor. And then there's going to be batteries. There's going to be some in the nose for weight and balance. That gives it extra nose weight. This aircraft needs more nose weight. And then there's going to be batteries going out the leading edge of the wing right there. Going out probably about there. There's going to be batteries all the way. In total, 1,400 batteries, 21-ish kilowatt hours. And it's going to weigh under 800 pounds with everything to get ready for takeoff. That's the gross. So that's the plan. That's the whole thing. So we get a little bit of a before, and maybe I'll do another one of these after when the motor's in there, and I'll give you a close-up of what the engine compartment looks like next. Alright, so here we're on the nose of the plane. So there's the propeller right there, and there's the hatch, or the kind of hatch, yeah, it's just a hatch for the engine compartment, and they've got these called cam locks. I don't love cam locks, but this one's built really well. Take these off. They do come off pretty easily, but they tend to get knackered and wrecked over time. Hopefully that won't happen with these. To get this off, it's so tight you kind of have to pry it out a little bit. Okay, got this off now. It's just pops right out. You notice there's vents right here. Those actually go to the vents for the motor. And there's the motor right there. It's a 2-cycle Rotax 447. It's got everything in it. You see it's got a pull start right here. It's old-fashioned pull start. Yep, just like a lawnmower. It's pretty darn close to a lawnmower. The engine weighs about 60 pounds. Obviously that's going to get replaced with electric motor. So if you see this whole area right here, let me back up a little bit. This whole area right here is all going to get removed. And what's going to happen is the motor's going to come way up here in the front. There's going to be the motors. There's going to be 2 motors, twin axial. So it's going to be like it'll have no adverse yaw, no P factor, no left turn. You won't need a right rudder to take off. It'll be perfectly straight, just like a jet or a glider. And back in here in this section will be the nose battery section. So this whole section right here is probably going to have batteries in it. About 400 batteries will be right here. 500 will be in each of those wings. So 500 in that wing, 500 in that wing. Going right down the leading edge of the wing. And one thing that's interesting about this airplane, I'm definitely going to keep these inlets for cooling. But I may be able to switch to a round cowl, kind of like an old World War II radial engine. I think Corsair, F6F, P47, that kind of round nose, and probably a lot more like a Corsair, perfectly round. So that'll be really pretty, I think, when it's done. Basically what's going to happen is the electric motor is going to be right here, and this is going to be a big round opening, and the air is going to hit it directly. So good cooling air for the motor, keeps it nice and cool. You notice there's actually a really cool passageway for the exhaust that runs underneath, and I'll see if I can get you in there. See that passageway? It's a really cool passageway. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It may just be exhaust for all I know. What I'll end up doing with it, but the exhaust is in there now. Obviously, when you have an electric motor, you don't need an exhaust. And there's also a second hatch I put the first hatch on top of. There's a second hatch right here. That's actually above my feet. So my feet would be in here. I'll show you that. My feet would go in here, and that's kind of like the top. Like my actual foot's probably down here somewhere. But this area above it is also available if I need more weight in the nose or just want more batteries. Then don't mind the extra weight. But I have the room for it. It is very tight on weight. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the wing, the way it works. There's actually 2 tabs on each wing. There's one in the front, and then there's one in the back. It's actually behind this plate right here. And these pins, these go in, and they actually they hook into a pinning system that pins this one this way, pins that one this way. And then these 2 tabs, this is the spar right here, the main spar. That's the left wing and that's the right wing. So left wing, right wing. These two tabs actually kind of interlock with each other, kind of like when you put your hands in your sweaters, both hands in your own sweaters, each sleeve of the sweater, and it kind of just locks in with itself. And I'm not sure if you can see it or not. It actually locks in there. Same thing back here, but it's way too dark. But yeah, this is the pitot line right here for the pitot tube. Tells you how fast the airspeed of the airplane. It actually connects probably right here. Oh, it did connect right there. Yeah, that's going to need to be replaced. One more thing on my list. There are a few squawks. There are things I'm definitely going to need to fix. I'm going to go down the wing. Now, like I said, the batteries are going to go right in here. This is all styrofoam per the construction manual. This leading section right here, the spar goes, follow it through. The spar is there. It's going to go straight through, and it kind of goes about here. And it's going to go down all the way to here. So, follow it. I'm kind of right on it right here. So right here, the spar is like right here. The batteries are going to go to about here, I think. And they're going to be kind of a small rectangular pack, and it's going to go the whole leading edge. So you think about it, I'll look at it this way. The whole leading edge is going to be batteries going right through here. And the reason you put the batteries on the wing is because that makes the airfoil, the amount of weight that the wing has to hold, less. So the wing, if I spread the load out on the wing, then the center of the wing doesn't have to hold as much weight. Remember, these wings are like big, they're called cantilevered. What that means is that there's nothing holding them up, there's no strutting, there's no bracing. The wings themselves have to hold themselves up. If I put all that weight in the center, that means this wing has to hold all that weight from way out at the tips. If I put the weight on the wing itself, it dramatically drops the amount of load the wing has to take. So that's a great thing. It's a good thing. And then finally, I wanted to show you the wingtip extensions. So this is a motor glider. It's designed to be to kind of like, it's a little bit of a glider and a little bit of an airplane. And there's kind of two ways to think about it. You have motor gliders are more airplane than glider, and self-launch gliders are more glider than airplane. So this is more of an airplane. It's got nice tricycle gear landing. It can taxi. It has a motor. It starts itself up. All that fun stuff. Where a self-launch, maybe you have to start it, although this is also hand-started. And also you need a crew for a self-launch. You have to have a crew to help you hold the wing up and do all this other stuff sometimes if it's windy. It also has to be staged at the end of the runway. It can't taxi. You have to actually get it there. Where this, with the landing gear the way it is, I can just taxi this airplane like a regular airplane. It's got toe brakes. It has wheel brakes, tricycle gear. Anybody who has a private pilot rating or a glider pilot rating can fly this airplane. And with the right endorsements. And the cool part is these wingtips right here, this will fit with these wingtips on. This fits right into my hangar, no problem. And there's like about 2 feet left. With those wingtips, no way. So what'll happen is at the end of the day, if I'm using these wingtips because I want to go gliding, I want to get 24-to-1 ratio because I want to go and hit some thermals, or I want to make the flight last as long as possible. I'll put that wingtip on. If I just want to go out and cruise around and just puddle around and I don't want to worry about mucking around with taking the wingtips off, I can use that one. So that's a good design. So here's the cockpit. It's very simple, very basic. I'm definitely going to be totally changing this out. It's going to be a glass cockpit with dual Adahars. And well, here I am. I'm in the hangar and it's put away and it fits real tight, but it is in the hangar. If you want to follow along, this will be a cool project. I encourage you to subscribe and just follow along and watch along. Read my blog, stay up to date. This will be a cool project. I'm not making a dime on any of this video YouTube stuff, and I don't intend to sell the plane. I'm just going to fly it. This is all just for fun and education and kind of back to roots. Really basic, but it should be interesting, and stay tuned. Thanks a lot.